championship belts contested on a single fight card. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, man. 4 years in and got our own Guinness World Record. Prensa Serrano already has her own Guinness World Record, so we're glad to join her. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Hey, Jake Paul, you got to put a smile on your face, because you put on a great show tonight. It's Amanda, she tried her best. It's boxing. This is boxing. Win, you lose.
Nobody lost tonight. Nobody lost. First of all, we want to thank Madison Square Garden for their partnership. An unbelievable journey with them, starting in 2022, to calling them 6 months ago and saying we want to do an all-women's card, and they jumped right in. And even though many within the boxing landscape, including Eddie Hearn, have said, why would you do an all-women's card? It doesn't work. Guess what? It fucking worked. Okay? We saw unbelievable talent out there, fight after fight, and we were honored to be working with these athletes. Sold out 19,721 people in attendance, a gate of $2.63 million. The biggest gate of any boxing event headlined by 2 women. And this is an all-women's card. So let's hear it for Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, and all the other amazing athletes on this card. Twice, double the gate of Taylor Serrano 1. That's how far they've come. Amanda said to us, you guys have changed my life. I'm forever grateful. But the reality is, she's changed our life. We started in this business less than 4 years ago, and we had a vision for women's boxing, and she's achieved it to be at this point here today. Her and Katie obviously have played a role together. That's a 115-pound woman who's fought at 126 for most of the past 3 years, coming up to 136 pounds to fight Katie Taylor and putting on an incredible show every time. So let's hear it for Amanda Serrano, please. Now to the face of boxing. Please, Mr. Jake Paul, go ahead.
No, it's incredible. We got a Guinness World Record. I used to like fake these on my YouTube videos, acting like I won like 20 of them. So no, I'm just happy to be here, and it was an incredible night all the way through. We made history, broke numbers, and this is what MVP's done in just 4 years, less than 4 years of us two, and just doing it really ourselves. And it's just a testament to what we're capable of, but it's really the women at the end of the day and the rest of our fighters, and just them continuing to put on amazing performances. And I just, after every fight, I just kept on, you know, saying to myself, I was like, dude, this is why women's boxing is on top. I'm more entertained watching all these fights tonight than multiple other promotional events from our competitors.
You kept saying it's like you just don't get
from
this
year.
boxing.
So just a credit to the women, and just an honor to be here and just to continue to break records.
A lot of great fights, a lot of debate between Jake, myself, and Layla on the performance bonus. I think there's an argument to be made that, you know, the money should be split. There's an argument to be made that this person or that person won. But ultimately, when we sat back and looked at it, who was the biggest underdog, who was taking on the biggest challenge, and who surprised people the most? Congratulations to the sweet Terminator, Shadeja Green, on winning $250,000. I still want you to sleep in cotton sheets though, because those silk sheets make you a little lazy sometimes, Shadeja. Get up here, girl.
Shadeja Green acaba de ganar $250,000 de bono por hacer la mejor pelea de la noche, la mejor demostración de la noche.
So what you gonna buy?
I don't live like that. I told you, I'll be on my means. Like I said, I'm gonna relocate my wife and my family to, you know, a better neighborhood so we can be safe before I get kidnapped. That's it, you know. Maybe take my nieces and nephews to the water park, do something for my mom and pops. You know, I got you, Coach. I hear y'all. See y'all looking. No, I'm just blessed and honored, man. going into tonight, I meant everything I said this week, you know, and camps really been different these last couple of camps, dealing with, you know, my coach has been sick, in and out, and we showed up together as a unit today, and we displayed greatness, and shout out to Savannah Marshall. She was a tough cookie, man. She caught me with a good shot too, buckled my left leg. I ain't never been hit like that before, but I'm just honored to be here today and be victorious. Thanks to the man upstairs, and thanks to these two fellas for making this happen. Katie and the man, for real.
Yeah, ultimately, the way we looked at it is, there was a lot of good fights, but really when you looked at Shadeja and Savannah and Katie and Amanda, those were very, very close fights from our perspective that you didn't know what was going to happen from an MVP perspective in our minds. So congratulations, and we got some big things coming. Big things coming.
Andreas Hale, ESPN. Jake, when I talked to you about a week ago, you said this is the time for everybody to have the spotlight, everybody gets the opportunity to show on this card. How great is it that the first woman you signed, Shadeja Green, well, the second woman you signed, Shadeja Green is the one that had the performance of the night bonus?
No, it's absolutely amazing. She's a legend, and she went out there and performed in the biggest moment yet, and we're just so honored that we've been with her, rocking with her for a while now, and she believed in us, and we just continue to improve ourselves as promoters.
Look, people say MVP, yeah, they signed Prensa Serrano, but she was already, you know, a 7 division champion, fighting for over 12 years. But we believed in Shadeja Green, and we thought she could become champion. And she had a loss and came back and became the WBO champion. And tonight, she became the unified champion and proved everybody wrong.
That's right. That's right.
Shadeja, I want to follow that up. Coming off the Franchon Cruz DeJean loss, you seemed really dejected. It was a tough fight. How did you pull yourself together and perform as well as you did tonight? Because it seemed like you just took it to another level.
I did that. I had to go back to the drawing board and get my mental together. This game is definitely like 95% mental. If your mental ain't intact, then, you know, like I said, if this is hitting, this is clicking, it's working. So that's what I did. I went back to the drawing board, got myself together, reunited with my coaches, and just try to show up and be a better person. And self-belief. It's funny, I was watching Jake fight Chavez last week, and he sat in the ring, and I shook my head. I was sitting in front of the TV, and he just kept saying self-belief, self-belief, self-belief. And I think that's what's been missing from my career for a long time. Sometimes I'm hard on myself, and I don't always believe. But today I believe, and I've been believing all camp. I kept saying, I'm gonna beat this girl. I kept saying that, so.
Congratulations. Last question to all three of you. The elephant in the room is obvious for Shadeja. A fight with Clarissa Shields would be huge for boxing. Obviously, she is not one of the most valuable promotions, but is that a fight that you guys would like to make next?
I mean, I would love to fight Clarissa Shields, you know. Of course, I want to go and rest or whatever, but I think that's the fight to be made. Clarissa Shields.
She gonna beat the fuck out of her.
You know, it's we got a heavy stable over here, and it's a couple of people that could go up against Clarissa Shields that got the skills. But Savannah told me something today. I don't know if I should share it, but I ain't gonna share it. But she said to me today, which I didn't even realize that she might have had noticed, but she said, you need to have more belief in yourself. She said, I've never been in a ring with somebody like you that hit as hard as you do. She said, I've been in the ring with her, and she said, you could take her out. And I'm like, damn, you know, hearing that from Savannah. And Savannah could punch, too. I'm not sitting up here making it seem like that was a tough fight. So I would love to fight Clarissa Shields. And when the time comes and it's big, let's do it.
Kevin Garcia, aka the Puerto Rican KKG. I just wanted to follow up on that, Shadeja. I actually caught up with Clarissa after the fight and I asked her about your performance, what she thought, and if she wanted to fight you. She not only said that she wanted to fight you, she said she was willing to fight you next, and that she'd be willing to do any sort of business with MVP. So how likely is that to be the next fight? Nikisa or Jake?
I mean, it's really up to the fighters, right? We have a ton of respect for Clarissa, regardless of the bullshit that goes back and forth on both sides. She's a great fighter. She's very accomplished. She's a great show person, actually, right? She's her own marching band in many ways, grabs attention. And that's needed in the sport. It really is. So we respect that. If Shadeja wants to do it, Jake and I are 100% down to do it, right?
Let's bring the contract, let's do it.
Jake, what do you think?
Oh yeah, let's get it, let's do it, you know.
Barclays
Business is
no?
business, and that's one of the biggest fights that can be made in boxing, so we're here to do that. That's where we do it, MVP. The name speaks for itself, and we're ready.
Maybe on the Canelo Crawford undercard.
Hey guys, Ron.
Well, that's sorry, what was that?
Maybe put that on the Canelo Crawford.
No, that's a headline event, my man. This is MVP MVP women. That's what that
Honestly,
is.
it's a bigger fight than those two, to be honest, in my opinion.
Like, that's a moment again where you're gonna have some of the top female killers in the world.
No one really knows who Crawford is, to be honest.
Outside of hardcore boxing.
I think my mom has more followers than him on Instagram, and I'm kidding.
Hey guys, Ron Moore at Fox News. Congrats on a great night. Red jersey. I asked this half-heartedly for either of you two, Nikisa and Jake, want to answer this. Obviously, Amanda's a great face for you guys. Is there any regret to not signing Katie to a deal with MVP?
It's not really an option to sign her. I think she's experienced working with us now 2 times in a row. And I'm confident if the right opportunity comes up, she's going to continue to work with us. But I also respect that she's very loyal and has worked with Matchroom for a number of years, and she has to balance that relationship.
Hey guys, congratulations on a great night. So I actually had a question for Jake Paul. Current thoughts right now, from a professional level, growing this sport and actually growing this brand, and an entire fight card full of women that tore the house down, but also on your personal life. Some news actually leaked out, some good doings that you did. Do you care to elaborate what your thoughts are right now and how you feel?
What?
So actually it leaked out about Ben Askren, what was going on?
Look, we just pray for Ben to get better. What Jake has done for many people is unbelievable at his age of 28. He was putting a belt, right, on a number of fighters' waists today at age 28. Who else is doing that in the sport? In any sport? Who's lifting the trophy? There's no promoter like him. And what he does in terms of charitable contributions, what he does in terms of boxing bullies, what he does for other athletes. There's times when there's news of some athlete being sick or needing help in the UK, and he hits me up and he's like, hey, let's help this person out. And I say, okay, no problem. It's his money, but sure. So let's hear it for Jake Paul, please. I mean, he has his bad days too, but he's an amazing guy.
Hey guys, congratulations, Rodrigo Otero Goico, Bonita Radio, Puerto Rico. 2 questions. Number 1, Amanda Serrano has said before that she might be in the last years of her career, in her boxing fighter career. There are a couple of fighters that you have signed, like Cristal Rosado, Elise Soto, and Yanquier Rivera. What are the plans with the new breed of Puerto Rican athletes and Puerto Rican boxers in the next couple of years?
Yeah, there's so much amazing talent. Like it's incredible, and we're just working with Amanda Serrano behind the scenes, as well as Jordan Maldonado, to just continue to curate all the best Puerto Rican fighters. And so the roster continues to grow. More Puerto Rico events to come, and I think the fighters speak for themselves and continue to dominate and have amazing performances.
I mean, look, it starts with Jake and his love for Puerto Rico. I asked him on Monday night, we had dinner, I said, you're done with boxing, you still want to live in Puerto Rico? He said, absolutely, man. I feel at home there. I feel at peace there. So Puerto Rico is very important to MVP. He is El Gallo de Dorado. And Amanda Serrano is, you know, the chairwoman of MVPW when she retires. So she should take some time, enjoy being the highest paid female athlete in history, and then we'll sit down with her and Jordan and figure out the continued Puerto Rican expansion and what's next for her.
Okay, I have one last question, and it has to do with the projection of women in boxing, and like you guys have invested in women's boxing, and I've talked to a couple of people around during this week, and the issue or the theme about the ring girls in an all-female fighting card. And the
You want ring boys?
sexualization of women.
You want ring
Well, a
boys?
couple of people have said that why don't have boys or none of any of them at all. I just wanna bring to the attention the conversation of it.
Next
Thank
question,
you.
please.
Just another question, Kevin Garcia, Puerto Rico KKG.
If anybody wants to submit an application to be a ring boy to MVP, send it to that young man.
Send it to fucking Kamala Harris.
My question is for Jake Paul. Jake, obviously, you know, you don't seem like you feel the best right now, dejected. I know you're upset with Amanda's loss. I want to know what your thoughts are on the game plan. Were you shocked by the game plan?
No, I'm having a great night. I don't know what you're talking about. It could have gone either way, yeah, to be honest. I mean, the fights have been all very, very close, and I'm just proud of the women in general. I think that's what I said to them in the ring. I said everybody won tonight, and women's boxing, MVP, all these people here, and I think we pretty much won every fight on the card. So there's so much amazing talent coming up. Alicia, Ellie Scott, Sugar Neeks. So it was just overall a win, and I'm just super proud to be a part of this. But it's really just all credit to them. I just continue to shine my spotlight on all of these amazing women.
Yeah, I mean, look, from top to bottom, we're so proud of every fighter on this card, MVP or not. But Tam came out and did what Tam does. Congratulations to Tam on another dominant performance. Ramla Ali came back after 13 months against a very tough game opponent and put on a great show, and we're proud of her. Obviously, Chantel Cameron, an extremely, extremely difficult fight week. She was in a hotel room at Heathrow for 3 days waiting to depart. She was on a plane on Wednesday night. So the jet lag hasn't at all adjusted, and she came in and took on a very tough opponent. Alicia Baumgartner told me how tough Jessica was, and Chantel showed out. I mean, that's a world-class athlete right there. It was unbelievable. And then, look, shout out to Sharetta Metcalf to get to where she got to. She signed to MVP. She will be fighting with us again. And Sugar Neeks made history as the first Australian male or female undisputed champion. And my wife is Australian, so I'm super proud. And then you look at the main card, and look, we kept saying Ellie Scottney is the most talented fighter in the UK under the age of 30, and she looked unbelievable out there against a very, very tough opponent in Yamalith. And then the rest of the card, obviously Shadeja and Savannah both signed to MVP, put on a spectacular show, and we believed she ultimately won the performance bonus. Alicia was fighting Jennifer Miranda, who was coming up from 126, but Jennifer looked like a much bigger fighter in that ring. It was kind of surprising, and Alicia dominated as we expected that she would. And then Amanda and Katie followed a new game plan and a new strategy, and they really showed the world what skill is in boxing is, right? Someone sent me a message and said, are they being hesitant? I said, no, they're just not brawling. That's all it is, and I think it was an impressive display. So with that, Jake and I are gonna step out, maybe spend 5 minutes with the new unified champion, and then we'll continue to get the rest of the fighters up here. Thank you, guys.
Bueno, amigos y amigas de Bonita Radio, aquí estamos en la conferencia de prensa. Una de las preguntas que yo le realicé a Jake Paul, déjame ver si puedo, y a Nakisa Badarian sobre la sexualización de mujeres, específicamente de las mujeres de los rings, de los ring girls, como le dice que llevan los letreros. Y la reacción fue, como se esperaba, algo violenta. Me mandaron a callar y ahí ahora salieron. Vamos a regresar.
Congratulations on the win, and
Estamos todavía en la conferencia de prensa, seguimos.
Better and better and better, and it seems like you're getting thrown the best competition possible. Do you attribute that to your success, especially elevating your game and how MVP, even though you're on the roster, they're throwing buzzsaws at you and they're throwing the toughest competition?
I just think it's a lot of my ability you guys haven't been able to see. I've always had this thing about me, even when I play basketball, I always either play down to my competition or played up. It's been a bad habit all my life. My mother has told me this my whole life. So when you throw some names out there like that, I know I gotta, be on my A game, and I find myself not slacking, and my coaches don't let me slack either. So the best competition is always gonna bring the best out of me. Sometimes if the name is, like, if I haven't heard it before, I tend to slip, but I'm gonna change that. I can guarantee that.
And how quickly do you want to get back in the ring?
It was a banger today, I could barely hear out of the left side of my ear. So I'm gonna take some time off, some rest and recovery, maybe a vacation with my family, hang with the little ones a little bit. Then I'll be back. I think I'm banned from the gym right now by my whole family, so I'll find my way back. I always do.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Shadeja over here, Giandra LaBeouf, Best Women's Boxing Show, period. You looked so completely calm as you made your way to the ring. The crowd was very excited for you. New Jersey was very heavy in the building. Can you just talk to us about making that walk to the ring and what you soaked in now that you've had time to reflect on it?
It was amazing. I knew New Jersey would be in the building. I fought here before when I fought Aline Cederos, so I was expecting New Jersey to be in heavy. I kept it the same. I played a little bit of Biggie, and I was in my element. I love Biggie. My mother loved Biggie, so salute to B.I.G. Walking in New York, and in the locker room, me and my team, we already went over the game plan, and they told me to stay calm and stay relaxed and fight your fight. Be yourself. That was the 3 words this camp. Be yourself, and that's what I did.
Just a follow-up to that. How close did you stick to your game plan? The fight that you saw, how consistent was the game plan that you worked out?
We definitely stick close to it. It was a couple of rounds, but I put the high guard up when I had her hurt and I wanted to get her out of there. I might have rushed it a little bit, but then I got back in the element. Barry and Terrific stayed on me about it, And but we definitely did stick to the game plan. It wasn't necessarily like a pin spot game plan. We was gonna do a little bit of everything, and I think we showcased that tonight.
Andres Gomez calling Mad Boxing Champ. Congratulations on a great performance tonight. You won the fight of the night, How would you grade your performance? And just how would you grade it? And what did you learn about yourself tonight out there in the ring in front of a huge crowd like that?
I learned that, that dog is still in me, no matter what. That dog is still in me, no matter what. I'm up for every challenge. I grade myself a B because I got hit with a right hand that I really didn't want to. From dropping my hands, playing around a little bit too much. But I got that mean streak back, and I thought I lost it, having so many kids around you, and you start getting soft in the sport. You can't be soft in this sport. So today, I was trying to get her out of it. We was talking back and forth. So the mean streak is still alive, and I'm glad to know that.
Hey, Shadeja, I'm curious. When the point was deducted, it seemed like a little fire under you. What was going through your mind when you lost that point? Because it felt like it was a little early. Did it light a fire under you to fight a little bit harder?
It did. I hate to admit this, but me and the ref was kind of going back and forth, and I made a mistake and slapped his hand off me when I had her hurt. By mistake, I did it. That was bad sportsmanship on my part. But Savannah was very tricky, okay? I wasn't holding her right hand. She was just yanking it to make it seem like I was holding it so she could yank and fire on the break. And he had warned me a couple of times, and then he took the point off. I didn't think I deserved that, but hey, it's his call. It's his job to do what he was doing, so I abide by it. But it definitely got me upset. I knew I had to go because I lost the point.
Do you have any memories of coming here from your upbringing, and how difficult is it to kind of put it behind in the back of your head, like, okay, I'm fighting in my backyard when it's also the world's most famous arena?
When I fought here 2 years ago, I never used to come here that much when I was a kid, but when I fought here 2 years ago, I remember, the tickets. Everybody was asking me for tickets. I did not want to deal with that headache, and I didn't have to. That's the blessing about being a part of MVP now. So I kind of shut my phone off, and it's shut off now. And I locked in. You know, I ain't had no choice but to be. My coaches was on my behind, and my immediate family is here right now, and that's all I needed to see. You know, everybody else, I see you when I'm done. Thank you.
Se fueron ya Nakisa Bedarian y Jake Paul, y la nueva campeona de las 168 libras, Shadesha Green. Poco de controversia de parte de por una pregunta que yo realicé sobre la sexualización de las mujeres en una cartelera de mujeres, y que estuviesen pues las chicas del ring, y parece que no les gustó la pregunta. La discusión sobre la sexualización de la mujer pues continúa sin atenderle, aparte de los promotores. No solamente ellos, varios compañeros y colegas de la prensa también reaccionaron. Interesantemente, Jake Paul dijo que le hiciera esa pregunta, que se le enviara a Kamala Harris, en un evidente desprecio hacia la figura de Kamala Harris. Seguimos con la conferencia de prensa, que la estamos cubriendo completamente. Seguimos.
Shanika Johnson, the first ever Australian undisputed champion.
All right, just to echo Nakisa's comments, I want to thank Madison Square Garden for their belief in the event, especially Netflix. They fell in love with Katie and Amanda, and we told them we could put together an event that was all women that would match that energy, and I think we did that successfully tonight. 3 of those first 4 fights this evening are up here with me. Tam Tebow coming off a great win, Ramla Ali getting back in the ring, both Olympians, and then of course Shanika Johnson, the first undisputed Australian world champion, as you've heard. So let's open it up for questions.
Question for Shanika, Andreas Hill, ESPN. When we talked last November for the women's boxing piece, you talked about how it was hard to find fights. When you beat Nina Hughes, you got paid about $20,000. You weren't sure about the future of women's boxing. Now that you're here and had this performance tonight, how do you now feel about the future of women's boxing, especially after what you accomplished?
I think the future of women's boxing is only growing, and look at the outcome tonight. Look how many people showed out to support women's boxing. It's exciting to be a part of and to see the growth, and that those numbers are definitely growing and being more active with fights.
I would just add, Andres, and I think you would agree with me on this. The best fighting the best is key, and we saw a lot of that tonight. All 3 of these women, every woman on the card took on a very tough challenge, fights that literally could have gone either way on paper. And women are fighters in general, willing to step up. I think people are going to support that, and they're going to be entertained too.
This question is for the 3 ladies. Rodrigo Teroboico, Bonita Radio, Puerto Rico. This is was a big event in the Mecca of boxing. I just want to ask you how enthusiastic you are to be part of this women movement from now as young competitors, and if you, how you feel when you got into the arena and saw the crowd.
Tam, you can go first. You fought first.
To be honest, I just feel really grateful. Like, we were in a card stacked with women just as talented as each other, and, you know, created new dreams tonight. I think, you know, I truly believe that what's going to make women's boxing grow is to get more people into it, start at the grassroots, and we got to create dreams for that. We got to create dreams for little girls who want to come up and be just like us, right? So I'm just very grateful and just really happy to be here.
You also asked how it felt when we walked into the arena today. Honestly, the energy walking out just really hit me. It was so amazing to see so many women coming to support women. And I've said that from such a long time ago. The only way women's boxing grows is if other women come out and support us, and they did today. Every woman in the crowd was cheering, and it was just such a phenomenal movement to be a part of.
I think the ladies said it very well in terms of, you know, women coming out to support women, but when I was out there and, you know, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano were walking out, that stadium was absolutely electric, and I had goosebumps, and it was like, wow, this is truly happening, and to see that moment and to experience that feeling is special.
Thank you.
Congratulations, ladies, to all of you. Giandra Love, Best Women's Boxing Show, period. For each of you, for the fights that you were able to see, what were your favorite fights on the card, and what made those fights special for you?
I think every fight was special in itself. That's what makes this card so historic. You can't really choose, because you have people like Shadisha who are coming up as the underdogs, surpassing themselves, and you have two legends like Katie and Amanda fighting each other for a third time. And you have Nick's over here who just became undisputed. It's just like, they're so big in itself, and they all deserve to be honored equally.
I think I second that. I know we're taking the chicken way out, but you have to give credit to every woman who stepped into the ring tonight, who showed out, who put in 10, 12 weeks of hard work, who put everything on the line. You can't fault that, so I think every fight deserves its flowers.
I'll have to go with the ladies as well. You know, it's absolutely awesome what everyone is doing. Everyone has their own, I guess, agendas and what obviously want to win the fights. But we all put in the hard works to get here, and it's not easy, but we show up anyway and we get the job done.
Andres Gomez, calling man boxing. My question is for Ramla. Champ, earlier this week you mentioned how there's no straight path towards success, and you like taking hard fights. So my question is, what fight would you like next? Would you like to get one back with Mercado, or would you like to go straight for the champion, Eddie Scotland?
I've been out the ring for like 13 months now, and I remember, so I've also changed coach. I was living in LA for 3 years. My father got sick, so I moved back to London, got a new coach now. And when I started training with him, he asked me, what is it you want to do? And I just said to him, I just want to take one fight at a time. Because a couple of years ago, I was like, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. And it never quite worked out, so I just became a bit superstitious. And now I'm just like, I just want to take whatever fight comes and just take it one by one. I know that's not the answer you want, but honestly, that is what I spoke to John Ryder about when I started training with him.
Danny Yanowski, the Sporting News. Tam, congratulations on your win, especially in 3-minute rounds. I know that's become a big debate recently, with women competing in those many rounds compared to 2. Would you like to compete in more of those in the future? And for the rest of you, What are your thoughts on 2 versus 3 minute rounds, and would you like to also do so?
I mean, I fought 3-minute rounds for like 8 years. Like, we talk about this in the professionals, but we don't talk about this in Olympic style boxing. Like, the gap between men and women has been erased, essentially. Like, there's equal value in both, and like, we're doing all right. Like, I mean, there's like an Olympic champion as a female, Olympic champion as a male is the same. Like, I'm not saying 3 minutes or 2 minutes or what's best. Look, I'm not a doctor, it's not my expertise. I've done 3 minutes forever for most of my amateur career. I want to keep doing it. And if people want to do it, then so be it, but that's on him.
This for Trinika. There's been so many great fighters over the year from Australia. You're the first to become undisputed. Has that set in yet?
It hasn't hit me yet, I don't think. It still sort of feels surreal to even be here and to be in this position.
Gail Falkenfall, NY Fights. And the three of you have come to New York from different countries. Have you had a chance since your victories to talk to family, friends, supporters back home about your wins and the significance of your participation tonight?
I don't know about everyone else, but my people, my family, my friends who all came out here don't care whether I win or lose. Like, they're with me till the end. So I think they're just happy for us that we made it on this card and we showed up. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? Yeah, and we left the ring healthy and safe. Like, we're all right. We get to go home to our families.
All right, thank you guys. Let's give it up for them.
Estas tres jóvenes que tuvieron victorias en el día de hoy, Ramla, Ali, Shanika, se me escapa el nombre, y Zabolt. Bueno, la pregunta yo creo que más relevante de esta ronda fue si les interesa las peleas a 3 minutos por asalto. Que esa ha sido una controversia, una separación, una diferencia entre el boxeo femenino y el masculino. Aquí regresamos de nuevo a la conferencia de prensa.
I just want to, Ellie, we've only been working together for a few months, but I just kind of want
Give you a
to...
headache. You're going to have no hair by the end of it, that's for sure.
I just want to share with everybody, she's quickly become one of my favorite people in the sport.
I'll give you $20 for that one.
But when we signed her to MVP, first of all, I was very excited because we all saw how talented Ellie was. And when we started working on opponents for this card, speaking with her manager, Jake, and Ellie very clearly said, I want to fight Mercado. So that's an interesting fight, right? And you remember what you said? Some people think she's better than me. So
Boxrec did.
Boxrec did. So anyway, the floor is yours, Ellie. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate you.
Questions? Congratulations, champ, on a big win tonight. A similar question like I had for Rama. You unified some belts, so what would you like to do next? Would you like to go for undisputed or get some title defenses in?
Do you know what? My nan always mentioned her because she was my biggest fan, and we always said complete the collection. So I'm one step away from undisputed, and that's what I want next. And then I'll be moving up to do the same at Feather for sure.
Ellie, Kevin Garcia, aka the Puerto Rican KKG. I just wanted to ask you how you feel now, and I'm referencing a few days ago, I was in a media scrum and you were walking through, and it was quiet. You know, some people maybe were unfamiliar, didn't have questions, and I saw you were focused on your fight. You're like, whatever. But do you think they know who you are now?
I'd like to think so. I felt like, thanks to Netflix, MVP, they gave me a platform where I can really announce myself, and I felt like I did that tonight. And like I say, this is such a big journey with them, and I feel like this is just the start.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ellie. Rodrigo de Oigo, Bonita Radio, Puerto Rico. I just want to follow up from a question from our colleague over here, from the last three competitors. What is your position about the 12 3-minute rounds or 10 3-minute rounds?
Hey, listen, 11-0 and I ain't got a stoppage, so I think I'd get a stoppage over 3 minutes and my brother would be a lot richer. He's lost a fortune on betting on it, so yeah, if we had 3 minutes, I'd get a stoppage. That's my excuse.
Congratulations. What were the biggest takeaways that you had from your opponent, from the fight? It was an amazing fight, and every single fight was amazing on this card. But what was your biggest takeaways, and what did you learn about yourself, what did you learn about your opponent, and what are you going to bring into the next fight?
I'll be honest with you, it's been a hard camp, so I felt like this camp showed me more who I am than anything else. And you know, I went in that ring and I felt like I held a lot in, and it was let out tonight. So it just showed me that I'm number one in the division. I believed that before, but I feel like this has cemented it, and it's just the start.
And one last question, how soon do you want to prove that you're number one in the division, and how soon do you want to grab even more belts?
How soon?
How soon do you want to get back in the ring?
As soon as probably my face is a little bit more time. That's always the case with me, but yeah, as soon as, definitely by the end of the year, I want to enjoy my Christmas this year.
Congratulations.
Back to Catford, right?
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
Hi Lee, I've already offended you in my Premier League socks, so I apologise.
I'd go sockless if I was you. Right, and who?
You seem very family oriented and very humble, and if you're okay to talk about it, you mentioned in the ring about your friend. I just wondered, as difficult as that is, how did you get through that, and how has that motivated you to get where you are today?
It was very difficult, but you know, Georgia was a soul of the earth. Like, if you ever met her, or even if you heard her story, you'd realise what she was. And you know, we made a promise just before she passed. It was a blessing to see her get married, and you know, she battled cancer like it was nothing. And yeah, I just felt like having her dad ring walk with me tonight was something that I'll live forever, and I felt her in there. So yeah, tonight was so much bigger than me. It was all for her, and I just, yeah, I felt like she was watching on me, and that will be the biggest takeaway from tonight.
All right, thank you, Ellie. Ladies and gentlemen, the undisputed champion, Alicia Baumgartner.
I first want to say I'm so thankful to be here, a part of a historic event. I'm so thankful that MVP has taken the time, literally, and given the women the opportunity to showcase their skills, and just be under the lights tonight was an awesome experience.
Alicia Andres, ESPN. You haven't been active as you wanted to be the past couple of years. How did it feel to get back in the ring? And was there any ring rust at all in the early rounds?
Yeah, I was happy to be back in there. You guys have to understand, it's been 2 years since I've done a 10-round fight. So just to be back in there to get those rounds meant everything to me. So I was just enjoying every round that I could when I was in there.
I'm curious, did you keep a close eye on the main event? And are you interested in fighting either of those women, or is it really important for you to defend your undisputed titles?
Yes, we have many options. Definitely watch the fight. Definitely will love the challenge with either fighter.
You gave your performance a B+. Why didn't you give it an A, and what did you think you could have done better tonight?
It's a B+ because I know what I'm capable of. I know the skill set that I have. I know the fighter that I am. I know who I'm becoming. And each fight you have to take for what it is. And I just go back to the drawing board and see exactly what I have to work on as an athlete. And I'm excited for that because it only gets better.
Andres Gomez, cornerback, boxing champ. Congratulations on the great fight tonight, great title defense. Earlier this week, we mentioned how this could come down to a battle of the jabs. But you also showed a lot of grit out there tonight. What do you think was the difference maker in this fight tonight?
It was the grit. It was to bite down. Derek said, you know, go forward. I knew that I couldn't get my jab off the way I typically do to find that range. And so we just kept the fight to go forward and just, you know, dig deep.
I would just add, you showed a lot of wrinkles. You boxed, you pressed. It's a good performance, fun fight.
Fun fight, yes.
Alicia Baumgartner, CPS Boxing Gym, Christian. Congratulations on your great performance tonight. What's your thoughts when you hear that you have a lot of fans all around the world, but especially Mexico? A lot of women in boxing admire you, your style and everything. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, my thoughts are, I'm so happy and thankful that, people really take advantage of being a supporter. Like, that takes everything, and I really do enjoy that because that's what uplifts me as a fighter. And, mentally we go through so much stuff, and when it comes to that fight night, that one night, it's the fans that keep us going. It's the cheers that keeps us, keeps the energy high. So I'm so thankful for them.
Hi, Ricardo Torres from NBC Telemundo. Congratulations on your win tonight. Can you give me your thoughts on the main event, maybe a little in deep? What did you see? What did you like? What you didn't like at all?
Yeah, I thought the main event was perfect. I think we all were, a lot of fans were probably expecting a fight like the second fight, but these are two smart fighters. They know how to box, they know how to use the ring, they have experience, and I think they made the fight very clear on who the winner was. And again, they boxed smart. You guys have to understand, I know y'all like a bloodbath, but we got brains at the end of the day that we got to take care of. So they did a great job in their boxing and showing the skill set that women do have.
Giandra LaBeouf, Best Women's Boxing Show, period. Congratulations, Alicia, on a hard-fought victory. You mentioned that she was a smarter fighter than expected. What did she do in there? You mentioned that you didn't get your jab off like you would have liked to. What did she do in there that you thought made her a tougher than expected opponent, aside from the interference with your jab?
Yeah, I just thought she had a smarter game plan in terms of what to engage in and what not to engage in. You know what I mean? So, she definitely kept her distance on not wanting to come in. And just like anything, you make adjustments as you go. We have an idea on what somebody's gonna fight like, but we also make the adjustments each round. And so that's what I was doing. Like, he was saying, boxing, pressing, and making it ugly.
Gail Falkenthal and my fights. Talk a little about, now that you're out the other side, working with Derek.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. When you start with a new trainer, you have to get a feel of everything. You have to understand how that's going to feel in the fight. It's one thing to be in training camp, it's another thing to be in a fight. And I liked what I had in the corner this time. At the end of the day, it is up to Alicia Baumgartner to do what she has to do. I can have you in my corner, but it is up to me to decide what I got to do. So at this stage of my life, I need a team that's going to encourage me in there and let me know what I need to do. But ultimately, it's up to me. So I enjoyed my corner tonight.
Congratulations, Alicia. Rodrigo Otero, Bonita Radio, Puerto Rico. What is next for you? You're undisputed champion. You've been undisputed champion for a while. 135, 140. What's up?
Listen, the sky's the limit, y'all. I'm so excited to be with MVP, and I know they have something exciting for me coming up and for the future. So many options to move up to 35, make these big super fights. These are the challenges that I need. I want to fight an experienced fighter who's going to bring just as much challenge as I am. That's what's going to make me great, and that's what's going to make me be set apart from the rest of the women in boxing.
Thank you.
And expect to see Alicia back in the ring before the end of the year.
Awesome.
Alicia, just up here. Clarissa was ringside tonight. Is that a fight that you feel like MVP can deliver for you?
Listen, that girl's a heavyweight. I'm super feather, so it gotta make sense. Sir, next question.
Congratulations on the win. From your opinion, what is the next step in the evolution of women in boxing? I mean, this was a big night, and you performed where the lights were shining the brightest, on Netflix, in front of millions of people. What do you feel is the next evolution of women in boxing, and you leading the way as a champion?
Yeah, the next evolution is just women knowing who they are each and every day. I think we've seen through the fight week
You know, with the looks, being a beauty, being a beast, being in our femininity, but also being the warriors that we are when it comes to fight night. So it's just like showing two different sides, but also knowing that we have a job to do and to clock in. And Friday night, we got to showcase that, but also come up here and speak with, you know, poise as a champion and as an athlete.
You joined the ranks of some of the greatest fights that ever happened under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. What would you say is your favorite fight, or your biggest inspiration? Like, man, I want to be like that fighter. Or what fighter was the inspiration for you?
You know, my inspiration just comes from the growth that I want for myself as a woman, as an athlete, and what I'm able to possess in the ring. You know, I've been boxing for 23 years and I'm still growing. I don't even think I've hit my prime yet. So there's just so much more to tap into, and I have a great team who's allowing that to come out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Give it up for Alicia.
Alicia Baumgartner es la campeona indiscutida de las 130 libras, discutió su futuro, ella es la cara del boxeo realmente y me parece que es interesante su comentario sobre cómo las mujeres deben encontrarse a sí mismas, balancear la feminidad con la brutalidad del boxeo y aguantar todas las críticas que puedan venir en cuanto a eso y continuar hacia adelante. Continuamos, está Eddie Hearn, promotor de Katie Taylor.
Remaining here for the final, I guess, performance of the night. We just want to thank Netflix, of course, Jake Paul, MVP. It was an incredible show tonight to be a part of. And what we saw, in my opinion, was the greatest female fighter of all time. I said to Katie Taylor in the change room, just do what you do and make this straightforward. Use your skill, use your speed, and just have a nice night tonight. And for once, she listened. And it was a performance when you think that someone might be coming to the end of the career, just rolls back the years with a performance of skill and speed and boxing IQ. And we're so proud of her. And ladies and gentlemen, the undisputed super lightweight champion of the world, Katie Taylor. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, over to the champion and also our trainer, Ross, up here as well for questions.
Hey, Kevin, right here in the front, Andreas Hill, ESPN. Listen, you had 2 wars with Amanda. Were you more surprised that she didn't come at you as much as she did in the first 2 fights? Or was that really a part of your strategy with the check hook, circling, to keep her at bay?
Yeah, I think the whole game plan tonight was not let her feet set. I knew I was capable of a performance like that in the other 2 fights as well, but I just got caught up in a bit of a war in the other 2 fights. I'm so happy that I was able to see this one tonight and just outbox her. And I made the fight a lot easier for myself, I think, just doing that, just keep constantly moving, not letting her feet set. And that was it.
Were you a little concerned when you heard the first scorecard of 95-95? Were you thinking, oh God, here we go again, another controversial decision?
I was a bit concerned, but once I heard the other scorecards, I was hoping obviously my hand was going to be raised, and thank God it was.
Question for both you and Eddie. A while ago, Eddie, you talked about it, there was the idea of a possible all-women's card that you had pitched to the zone. Wasn't ready for it. Now that you saw what happened tonight, how do you feel about an all-women's card and the energy that it brings?
Look, it was an amazing show and a huge opportunity for female fighters. I know that, I'm not speaking on Katie's behalf, but I know that she's always wanted female boxing to sit alongside men's boxing. It's not 2 codes, It's not necessarily a night of female boxing or a night of men's boxing. It's just boxing, and I've always said that Katie Taylor is not just the greatest female fighter of all time, but one of the greatest fighters of all time, and that was the barrier that she broke. So we don't compare, you know, the female and the male code. It's just boxing. But what they did tonight was give so many opportunities to so many great female fighters, and big paydays and big opportunities, and she won't ever say it, it's down to her. You know, there's been many more before her, but she's the one that's commercially broke down the barriers that have given so many opportunities. So, amazing all-female. I've never done an all-female card tonight. It was amazing for everybody involved, but you know, for me, it's just not men and female. It's boxing and judged off the quality of the fighter. And this right here is one of the greatest of everybody of all time.
How did you feel about it, Katie?
Oh, well, absolutely unbelievable to be part of a show like this and to be headlining an all-female card. It was an absolute privilege. These are the sort of opportunities that people didn't think was even possible a few years ago. And just seeing the atmosphere, seeing the amount of people that came out to support an event like this, the atmosphere was absolutely electric again tonight. I didn't think it could get even any louder than the first time we were here, but it was an unbelievable atmosphere, amazing event, and I'm very, very proud to be headlining such an important event for women's sport.
Last question. Eddie just said you kind of turned back the clock. You looked fresh. You looked in your zone. I know that you have talked about retirement, but after this kind of performance, are you still thinking about it, or you feel like you still got a lot more left in?
I don't know. I'm just going to enjoy this victory right now and sit back and reflect, and then I'll make a decision on that soon. But I'm very, very happy with tonight's performance, and just the amount of work that we put in over the last few months, myself and Ross. It grew in a few months in preparation for these kind of fights, and I'm so glad I was able to showcase what I could do tonight.
Katie, over here, congratulations once again. Just a word for the Irish fans, the amount of them here tonight that travel over constantly for your fights. Everyone's supporting you back at home again, and I know you don't want to mention tonight, but can you give them the reassurance that they'll see you at least one more time, maybe back in Dublin for another fight?
Maybe in Crow Park. That would be unbelievable. Just I said in the ring earlier on, just these people are spending their hard-earned money to go over and support me. It just means the world. Honestly, I can't believe that this is my life. I'm headlining the show in Madison Square Garden, an all-female card. Looking back on the whole journey, what an amazing life. These are nights that I dreamed of as a kid, and to be sitting here again as a winner, I'm so happy, so grateful.
Hey Katie, congrats. You kind of shied away from it throughout the week, but did you feel any pressure going into tonight? I'm asking now that it's over, and did you feel kind of like a sense of relief when your hand was raised?
Yeah, I think there's always a bit of pressure going into these fights. It's normal to feel a bit of pressure, but I didn't feel any more pressure than the previous nights. Every single fight I've been involved in over these last few years have been huge fights. They're huge events, and so I wouldn't say I felt any more pressure tonight than I did for the other fights, but there's always a bit of relief after your hand is raised, but also just complete joy as well. Just all the hard work being paid off, all the sacrifices you're making, it's a grueling sport, so it's obviously such a relief when your hand is raised.
Do you feel like you have anything left to prove?
I wouldn't say I have anything left to prove, but I'm going to sit back and relax, and like I said, I will make a decision on whether I will fight again in the future.
Katie, you sat down with me 2 months ago and you said that you were going to give the best performance of your career. Eddie's already said he's turned back years, and it was a fantastic performance. I just thought, are you happy after that performance? I mean, you put on a great show, won obviously 3-0, like you said now, but after you said that this was going to be the greatest performance, do you feel like you really showed that tonight?
I thought I showed, just a very smart performance, a very clever performance. A performance I knew I was capable of against Amanda. The 2 fights previous were just ended up as complete wars, and I came out of the ring battered and bruised. And I'm thinking, why am I just standing there fighting when I knew I was capable of moving my legs like that and just outboxing her? I'm just happy I was able to produce that tonight and execute the game plan that Ross has been telling me to do all along. Yeah, I'm just very, very satisfied right now.
And you really did go to war. And it was quite nice at the end that you hugged, you know, it's kind of like that chapter's now over. Are you happy that all of that and kind of the build-up and the controversy of the second one is now put to bed and you can just reflect on what's been an absolute masterpiece in the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just so grateful for Amanda Serrano. What an amazing champion. We created history together 3 times. My name will always be embedded with hers forever. I'm very, very happy about that. What we've been able to create over these last few years has been unbelievable. It's amazing to have a rival like that in the sport, and this has brought an event like this tonight, like an off-field card, because of what myself and Amanda have been able to produce over the last few years. So I think we're both myself and Amanda are just sitting back very, very proud right now.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to maybe Amanda's strategy this time around, but the first round, the second round, did you feel like there was any tentativeness from her part because of how she's fought in the past? Was that a sense at all that you got doing?
I think just my movement was causing her a bit of trouble tonight. My footwork was causing her trouble, and she wasn't able to set her feet. So yeah, I'm not sure what was going through her mind, but I think I just made the fight easier for myself.
Was there a sense at some point tonight that it felt maybe stylistically more your type of fight than what she, like you alluded to, kind of put you in the first 2 fights?
Yeah, definitely. I was able to use her. I used the ring a lot better tonight. My feet were very good tonight. I felt fresh in there. I felt sharp in there. I seen that the punches coming. So yeah, I definitely felt like it was my kind of fight. That was my kind of pace as well.
Congratulations, Ricardo Torres from NBC Telemundo. I have a 2-part question. It seemed like Amanda tried to outbox you from the outside. Were you expecting that strategy from her, and did it work on your favor? That's the first part. The second one, now that the trilogy is done, do you feel like in the long run it can become a turning point on professional women boxing?
I think it already has become a turning point, just what we've seen tonight. But yeah, I was. What was the first question?
Strategy. Did it work on your favor? Her strategy? Tried to outbox you from the outside.
Yeah, she couldn't really get close to me tonight, and I think that's due to my to what I was doing there as well. I think yeah, she just couldn't get close.
Radio right here down in front, Katie. Congratulations, right here on a 3rd win and an amazing performance. Is this performance more satisfying than the first 2? Because there really isn't any debate this time around. And even though it may not have been the firefight that we expected, it was definitive. Did it feel better this time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody could deny that I won tonight's fight, so it is very, very satisfying. The other previous fights, some people had her winning, some people had me winning, so there was always that debate there. That's why there was a trilogy at the end of the day. It was coming into this trilogy 2-0 against her. But there was a controversy in those decisions, so I feel very, very satisfied right now that it was lights out, and I feel like it was a very, very dominant performance.
You said you made the fight easier on yourself tonight. You did what the coach asked you to do. As fighters get older and more experienced, they get wiser. Is this the kind of performance we can see from you in the future? I mean, everyone expects Katie to just bring the fight to the opponent and stand in the middle and trade. But now at this stage of your career, is this the smarter way to conduct your boxing business?
I hope so. That's always the plan, to fight smart, but for some reason, sometimes it ends up in a fight, but my plan is always to box smart. My plan was to box smart in our 2 previous fights as well, but I'm very, very happy I was able to execute what I was being told to do tonight.
And last one, we saw Cameron tonight. I know you don't know if you want to continue, but is there something in the back of your mind that wants to settle that as well? Make that a definitive win for yourself before you go out of boxing?
Maybe. I think Chantal has to see if she can sell out a 1,000-seat arena first. I don't think she can sell out any stadium at all, so I think I made her more money than she really deserves, to quite honest. But what do you think, Eddie?
I think you earn the right to do whatever you want. I think those fights with Chantel, great, Serrano, great. I think if it was a really tough fight tonight, then maybe we'd be sitting here and saying, well, is that the end of the road? But, you know, I feel like Katie could do another 20 or 30 rounds, so she'll decide if she's going to fight again. For me, I think she's got at least 11 or 12 left, to be honest with you. So we'll see.
Thank you, and congratulations again.
I think
Congratulations, Katie.
one more, guys, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yannick Hales from Bolero. Two judges saw the fight clearly in your favor, while one is Korea as a draw. Were you surprised by the judges' scoring?
I was definitely surprised to hear the 95-95 score part, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. My hand was raised and I don't care. Yeah, very, very happy that my hand was raised.
All right, guys.
Thank you,
for
everyone.
all your support. Well done, Katie Taylor.
Amigos y amigas, aquí estamos en la conferencia de prensa. Katie Taylor, campeona indiscutida de las 140 libras, que acaba de derrotar por tercera ocasión y esta vez sin duda a Amanda Serrano. Acaba de terminar su conferencia de prensa. La conversación o las preguntas se concentraron en su futuro. Ella dice que no sabe o está segura que va a pasar con su carrera. A mí me parece que sí va a tener algunas peleas más, pero no muchísimas más. Y tengo que decir que parece que Amanda Serrano no va a venir a la conferencia de prensa, por lo que estamos entonces terminando esta cobertura de la pelea de Amanda Serrano y Katie Taylor. Para resumir, yo le hice una pregunta a los promotores y dueños, cofundadores de MVP Most Valuable Promotion, a Jake Paul y a Nakisa Vidarian, sobre, en una cartelera de mujeres, completamente de mujeres, la pregunta que se ha hecho varias personas que yo he conversado con ellas sobre la utilización de mujeres que son las que se conocen como las ring girls, las mujeres de ring, que lo que hacen es caminar con los letreros y pararse y posar si en efecto hay una discusión sobre la sexualización de la mujer y la contradicción de proponer un evento deportivo completamente femenino y como quiera tener esas imágenes de sexualización de la mujer. La reacción de ellos fue algo violenta. Jake Paul me mandó a callar, dijo que yo le hiciera la pregunta a Kamala Harris, y Nakisa Vidarian básicamente me preguntó si yo quería que hubiesen hombres en vez de mujeres. Yo le contesté, bueno, hacía más sentido que hubiesen hombres que mujeres, pero la conversación se tornó en más burla que otra cosa. Pero al menos la pregunta se hizo, la conversación está ahí, por lo menos de parte de nosotros, de Bonita Radio. Yo me voy a retirar. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Vamos a estar publicando contenido sobre esto durante este fin de semana. Mañana vamos a hacer algo. En algún momento tengo que descansar, pero vamos a hacer algo en cuanto a esta cobertura. Y mañana, recuerden, a las 3 de la tarde, los que estén acá en Nueva York o en áreas adyacentes, vamos a estar allá en Toñitas, en Brooklyn, desde las 3 de la tarde. Acompáñenos si están por ahí. Y nada, y la semana que viene arrancamos nuevamente y tenemos análisis profundo de todo lo que ocurrió en esta semana. Así es que gracias por estar con nosotros aquí en Bonita Radio. Un abrazo grande, que descansen y mucho éxito. Bye.